stack of invoices on the floor. Creditors banging on the black and green door. The kids are crying, the fridge is bare. There's a tension hanging in the stale office air. We don't want a banquet, we don't want a spree. Everybody just wants a bucket of KFC. It's a flashback, a rerun, a glitch in the screen. We've been here before, if you know what I mean. 18 months, we waited in line, running on empty, losing our minds. Now the election bills are overdue, and the party planners are coming for you. Working without compensation, it's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation, total financial stagnation. You wanna run the country, you wanna lead the way, but you can't find the cash at the end of the day. Hard-working staff left out in the cold. Stories of funding that never got told. Did the wire transfer get stuck in the sand? Did Tehran run out of money on the man? Pick up the hotline, make a dash. Go ask the BRICS countries for a little bit of cash. It's a bad habit, breaking the trust, turning the legacy into dust. 18 months was a lesson learned, but the bridge is already being burned. Working without compensation, it's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation, total financial stagnation. They talk about policy, they talk about the land, they talk about taking what is in your hand. Look on the bright side, through the frustration. At least it is not yet. Expropriation without compensation. Working without compensation, it's a payroll disintegration. How can we trust you with the state of the nation when you can't meet a simple obligation? Working without compensation. Just want a KFC. Kids are hungry. Where is the money? Did Tehran run out? Working without compensation.
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Wednesday, December, a little beard falling off there. Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Welcome back, program folks. Chris live in central Pennsylvania. A little sound check. Back, program folks. Chris, sounds good. Okay. Never trust anything anymore. This computer gone wonky on me ever since I looked at updating to Windows 11, which I didn't do. Right, let's get to it, folks. Here is a couple things to cover first. Let's take care of this before I forget early on. Let's take care of the Advent calendar. We're just 10 days out now. So today is the 10th, and the 10th right here. There you go. What do we got here? Whoops. Whoa, it fell on the floor. It's Santa Claus, the Dutch Santa Claus. Oh, chocolate Santa Claus. Over here we got, let's see, 17, 11, what's that? I can't see a number on that one. 22. They didn't put the number in a good spot. Where is 10? Oh, goodness gracious. There it is over here. Okay. You'd think it'd get easier after I take a bunch of them out. That's Santa Claus again. Same thing. Just a different spot. And then here we have the Kinder Chocolate one. Okay. Let's go with number 10. These are hard to read because the background is white. There it is down here. And another one of these Kinder Chocolate packages. Okay, come on. These are hard to get out of there. Okay. Takes care of the Advent calendar early on. Confirmation of more arrivals. Yesterday, we had a few places, Maine being one of them, South African refugees arriving in the States. Today, we had South African refugees in the last hour arrive in Iowa and in Florida. Congratulations to those who arrived. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. We have an interview tomorrow with Matt up in Massachusetts, a South African refugee who's recently arrived. And then last night, Danica said she would also give us an interview. So that's the Merry Christmas. Lots of refugee interviews. And thank you those who do it. Appreciate it. It is time consuming for me, but it matters. Psychobilly says, Thule House staff can't complain not getting paid. The caterers expirated their time without compensation. Exactly. Yep. It is a form of compensation. Dean McPherson, tell Dean McPherson, tell him that not getting paid is a form of compensation. That's pretty good. Put your Christmas tree up today. Trying to get to well, I haven't got mine up yet. I don't know if enough I'm going to put up at this stage, but do have Christmas decorations up. So yeah, I can do with some choices. Choices for what, Internet? All right. Congratulations to those who made it over, and good luck. I've also heard from a few people. Made a video last night. I'm a little concerned about a few developments in the refugee program. I don't know how true they are. I have anecdotal information, so until I can run it down, we're not going to say. Okay. All right. Okay. What's this? New arrivals. Okay, yes, new arrivals have landed. That's correct. Hello, RVC. Okay, got email today and have your case number. Congratulations. Yeah, so I just wonder how many people watch this program afterwards. We've seen a few of the refugees have come over, keep watching the program, which is appreciated. But right kidney has new friend. Okay. All right, Charles. Okay. All right, let's get on with the news here, folks, for today, Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. Man, this year. You know, this year has actually felt a bit slower. It seemed like it was going fast, but now it's December, and it's like, what was going on in January? You know, it's crazy how long this year seemed. The past years just whizzed by. This one, it felt like it was whizzing by as it went by, but now, in retrospect, it seems like it's been a while. South Africa is giving millions in foreign aid while South Africans go hungry and live and go to school with pit latrines, although only a few schools left like that. But years of neglect, while the South African government continually gives handouts to countries when it has to borrow money. Why do you have to borrow money to survive and you give out money? Of course, I could say the same thing about my government. Why do we have foreign aid when we're borrowing money every year? South Africa has provided substantial monetary assistance to its allies and neighbors over the past decade. Interesting. 170 million to South Sudan, 41 million to Zimbabwe, 140 million loan to Cuba, and 50 million assistance to war-torn Palestine. Never mind the fact that it was reported widely in the press. Whether it's true or not, we don't know, because not including there, but 500 million rand for the so-called Cuban doctors who were going to help with COVID. Remember that? They sat in Cape Town, didn't go anywhere. At least that's what we heard. Well, the South African government has sent a silly warning out. Their Minister of Nothing, Kumbudzo Ntshavheni, once again sits around and says nonsensical things. This time, warning foreign intelligence services they must follow South African laws. So, I'm sorry. The South African government is telling foreign spy agencies that they must obey South Africa's laws. Did she miss the part where they're spies? Let me run this through you real quick. Okay, let me run this by you real quick. Okay, so yes, I have a meeting at Durko. Thank you. Yes, my name is Jason Bourne. I'm an operative for the the Department of Central Intelligence. And I'm just here to let you know that I'm operating on your soil. I didn't want you to not know about that. Unfortunately, I will be carrying a firearm because my life is in jeopardy as a spy for the Department of Central Intelligence. But I just thought I'd let you know that. So please, anything I can do to help you, we're here spying. Oh, aidez-moi. Aidez-moi. You've got to obey our laws. Really? I'm sure the Chinese are just desperate. Wang Xiangping. Hello, Wang Xiangping here, spy for Chinese and Central Intelligence. Yes, we're following your laws in South Africa. Just letting you know that. Wang Xiangping, I'm declaring myself. Oh my goodness. Yes, like they follow the like they follow the laws here. South African government warns foreign intelligence obey laws or face counterintelligence action. Wait. South African counterintelligence. Would this be the same fellows who successfully predicted, prevented, and interdicted the July 2020 ANC internal insurrection? Would that be South Africa's counterintelligence? Were they busy, in Nkandla and Mooi River and Durban and Chatsworth? In Phoenix? Is that the same counterintelligence? Yes. Okay. Well, I'm scared now. I'm scared now, says Jason Board. Jason Board is terrified. He's scared. Oh, my goodness. This is for real. She emphasized that foreign intelligence operations based in the country must also respect the country's sovereignty and whatever activities they engage in while South African borders. So, somehow, I don't think that meeting with sources, undercover sources, clandestine sources, or listening in on people's telephone conversations, or intercepting their emails, or having secret meetings is really in line with the law in South Africa. I'm pretty sure the Chinese and the Russians and maybe even the Americans are going to look at this and go, yeah, okay, sure, we'll follow your laws. Well, in order to have counterintelligence, you'd have to have intelligence. I'm not sure that we've even got that going on down there. Whoops, hang on a second here. Something weird happened there. All right. Minister in the presidency, Kumbudzu Nchiveni. You know her, the one that looked like a little 6-year-old with her school clothes on, sitting in the Oval Office, confused as she sat there smiling while images of people calling for the murder of white South Africans were played on a video behind her bulbous head. She sat there smiling. Yes, that's her. Kumbudzu Nchiveni. I tell you, I think a qualification to become a senior member of the ANC is you've either got an IQ below 3 digits or you've had lobotomy before you join the party. These are the dumbest people ever. We can run through the list of Ronald Mola, Angie Mocheka, this idiot here. She emphasized that foreign intelligence officers based in the country must also respect the country's sovereignty and whatever activities they engage in while within South Africa's borders. Well, then here's a little thing. If it's a foreign intelligence activity and it's operating in South Africa, it's not going to respect your rules and laws. I'm sorry. Sorry, sweetheart. That's just how it works. She added standard practice for sovereign states, including South Africa, to monitor the activities of foreign intelligence service within their borders. That's true. That's true. She concluded the country's counterintelligence capabilities are appropriately tasked to ensure that any activities contrary to South Africa's national interests are identified and managed within the relevant legislation. Bulletin 3880. Lots of YouTube channels spread misinformation. That's why they have millions of views. That's there they show tiny little boobies and tiny little waist and tiny little bikinis, and that's how they get views. So, Anna Kruger, thank you. You're very welcome, man. I'm glad to see you doing all right. All right, hopefully the car's worked out fine. It's back on its legs. Okay. Well, the ANC will get over 50%. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting this. I slept in late this morning. I wasn't expecting the comedy hour. But, I mean, African National Congress at its big NGC is saying that the ANC will get over 50% in the next election. Where do they come up with this stuff, man? This is the ANC's on a comedy tour. The ANC's 5th National General Council kicks off in Joburg and will focus on changes. Well, it's already kicked off, but this is an hour ago. They say it kicks off. It's day 3. It's not kicking off. It's day 3. Thank you, News 24, for telling us that the party kicks off, but it kicked off 2 days ago. The ANC will get over 50% and will win back power, Fikile Mbalula claims, but it has to win Gauteng and KZN. Fikile Mbalula. You call her blabbermouth. You sure she's not bladdermouth? 50%. 50%. Where? In Limpopo? Sure. In Northwest? Sure. In the Eastern Cape? Absolutely. In the Western Cape? No. In Gauteng? No. In KZN? Not going to happen. Free State? Maybe. Oh my goodness. Well, Quest, I don't do Bitcoin. Thank you for the offer, though. But I do PayPal. Well, more bad news for the cat, folks. The cat has got a judgment against him. Court is saying that the cat's company may be evicted because they haven't paid 260,000 Rand in rent. Gauteng High Court has ordered Vuzimuzi Cat and Tlatla's company, Medicare 24 Shwane District, to pay their money. 360 million contract. They owe rent of 260,000. Where the hell did the money go there, cat? Where'd the money go? You don't have 260,000 to pay your rent. You got 350 million contract. What'd you do with the money? Well, the Democratic Alliance is making a huge difference, folks. It's making a big difference. The Democratic Alliance members of the parliament, their ministers are amazing. Dean McPherson. Nil means something. It doesn't mean nothing. So we're going to take your land and we're going to give you nothing. And that's something because nil means something. Dean McPherson. And then, of course, we have the famous agriculture minister who discovered foot and mouth disease 12 months after it broke out and destroyed the cattle industry in South Africa. So well done there. But let's go now turn our attention to education, where Siviwe Garuba is the education minister, actively implementing the ANC's National Democratic Revolution and destroying Afrikaans and forcing Afrikaans-speaking children, colored, Indian, black, and white, to learn in English when they go to school, as well as Venda and Xhosa and Zulu and Ndebele and Khoi and San, forcing little school children, primary school, to go to school in a language they don't know a word of and learn it on day one. Yes, and she's actively oppressing children who have a right to be taught in their first language under South Africa's Constitution. She's joyfully engaged in that. And now it turns out her department has corruption in the matric. Yes, that's right. Breaking story at this hour, folks. Matric exam breach. The Department of Basic Education calls urgent media briefing. No. Minister of Basic Education, Siviwe Garuba from the Democratic Alliance, will hold an urgent media briefing in Cape Town on Friday following identification of a breach during the marking of matric exam papers. In a brief statement issued this afternoon, the department stated that the breach was detected through its internal monitoring oversight systems. Minister Garuba will outline the immediate interventions and measures being implemented to safeguard the integrity and credibility of the 2025 NSC examination results. They're going to protect the integrity and credibility. Hasn't it just gone out the window with her announcement that it was breached? A little confused there. Yes, there you go, folks. So another fantastic job by a DA minister, oppressing small school children. Yes, and now also, compromising the school exam. Now, I don't blame Siviwe Garuba for that. That's not her fault. Or is it? I don't think it's her fault. Inkibisi Intilanya has said that the ANC is a liberation movement that has liberated itself from its values. Woo! Well, I tell you, the fire is coming, folks. The fire is coming. The ANC is a party that has liberated itself from its values. Well, I think I agree with that. He asked if a party that aided the rise of counter-revolutionary, leading to many of its leaders benefiting, can really excuse itself from the tag of a counter-revolutionary. 3 of the ANC's provincial executive committees have been disbanded. These are in Gauteng, KZN, and the Western Cape. The latter has always been relatively unstable. Still, it's unprecedented for the party to have interim leaders in 3 provinces simultaneously. The ongoing discussions of the party's National General Council have frankly characterized the state of the organization as in crisis. It's the typical customary honesty that defines ANC gatherings. Honesty, really? The key text guiding the discussion, titled The Base Document, blames the organizational crisis on several factors. Among these is what it calls counter-revolution. This is an old term within the ranks of insurgent organizations. Because their formation was essentially a rebellion and often operated under conditions of illegality, tormented by brutal regimes, instruments, and had a permanent fear of infiltration, that's because it often led to death. It was not uncommon for the ANC, for instance, for infiltrators to poison food at military camps or leak information to the apartheid security for assassination attacks. Craig Williamson, who is probably the most accomplished spy ever to infiltrate the ANC, caused multiple assassinations, including that of Ruth First. The fear of being infiltrated didn't end with the ANC's transition to government. Instead of assassinations, now the fear was sabotage. That's why the party's old guard was never quick to believe that waving an ANC membership card necessarily made one into a genuine member. Well, here's the bottom line. That's all they are, is a revolutionary movement who doesn't know how to govern, and they can't govern because they can't get themselves out of their mindset. And they've inculcated new generations of ANC cadres 30 years into it who believe in it even more fervently than the idiots who thought that they won independence and it wasn't them. I'm too old. I'm not available. I'm retiring soon, says Gwede Mantashe. Well, I'll agree with all that. How about you retire now? You can resign today. ANC chairperson Gwede Mantashe says he will not contest the party's top position, saying he's too old as debates begin to surface within the party. Well, I have an idea. Somebody should be like the next Gorbachev, become the party leader, and then destroy the party from within. A family of a black South African has turned to AfriForum after witnessing these harrowing murder revelations. The family of Emmanuel Mbisi, who was tortured, murdered, and discarded in a dam, has roped in AfriForum's private prosecution unit. On Wednesday, AfriForum said the family only learned the harrowing details of his murder for the first time during Fundameva's testimony. Barry Bateman of the lobby group's private prosecution unit said that Fundameva's testimony came with no prior warning to the family and exposed the depth of the alleged criminality and misconduct by law enforcement. Wow. The decision to approach AfriForum was not taken lightly. It reflects the sense of abandonment that we've experienced as a family. The very same institutions we have entrusted with seeking justice have failed to act on our behalf. It's a direct result of our determination to ensure the accountability and to protect our dignity. So, once again, at AfriForum, helping more than just Afrikaners. They've done this on many occasions, helping people, not legally necessarily, but giving advice to communities, minority communities of black Africans, tribal groupings around the country, and no one gives them credit for that. They continue to lie about AfriForum, who they are, and what they're all about. So once again, AfriForum helping South Africans, not Afrikaners necessarily, but South Africans. South African Communist Party is committing suicide, says Gwede. Yes, well, you're not only too old, you're also too dim-witted. The Communist Party never had any life to it. The Communist Party of South Africa had a peak membership of 50,000. 50,000. That's a population dwarfed by the town of Harrisburg here in central Pennsylvania, or York. ANC chairperson Gwede Mantashe has warned the South African Communist Party that it's killing itself by deciding to contest next year's local government elections. Well, we'll see what happens. We think the party can walk the walk and actually kill itself. SACP is committing suicide. Well, we'll see if that's true. Well, the regulator has slapped a massive fine on Bankso and its directors, 2 billion rand. Financial watchdog Financial Sector Conduct Authority has fined Bansco and its directors more than 2 billion rand. The regulator issued several additional fines ranging from 5 million to 20 million and debarred 4 key individuals linked to its investigation. Wow, that's a lot of money, man. What's going on at Bankso? Anybody even heard of Bankso? Sadly, over this past weekend, 28 people were killed on Western Cape roads in the first week of the holiday season alone. That's just the Western Cape. 28 fatalities. 12 pedestrians, making them the single largest group affected. 12 pedestrians. 10 passengers, 3 drivers, 2 motorists, and 1 cyclist. Good Lord. People need to pay attention the holiday season. 33,000 vehicles were stopped and checked, and just over 10,000 fines were issued for a range of traffic violations related to driver and vehicle fitness. 43 drunk while driving under the influence. Yeah, man, people just not taking it seriously. Cars are dangerous, deadly weapons. You need to treat them as such. Edmund Etzebeth says that, I think I owe people an explanation. Well, you do, Edmund. You've tarnished your reputation and put a lot of shame on the Bucks for your conduct. His version of eye gouging, I think I owe everyone an explanation. Springbok Lock Eben Etzebeth shared his version of events in the eye gouging incident that resulted in him being suspended for 12 matches. At the end of November, the Towering Lock received a red card in the final minutes of the Springbok 73. Sorry, telemarketers illegally calling my phone number. That's a fine of $500. At the end of November, the Towering Lock received a red card in the final minutes of the game where they beat Wales. He was adjudicated by match officials to have laid his hand on the Welsh loose forward's eye, which saw him receive his marching orders. He acknowledged that he was guilty of the eye gouging, however, he maintained it was not intentional and that there were mitigating factors. Okay. He said, I've been quiet, but now that my hearing is done, I think I owe everyone an explanation. First of all, this is not a post to show that I was not guilty. I accept guilt. Okay. I made a mistake, and I'm willing to serve a suspension, which I deserve. I don't want young kids to look up the Springboks and think that it's okay to eye gouge someone, because it's not, but unfortunately mistakes happen, and I made a big one, for which I'm sorry. Okay. Etzebeth emphasized the eye gouging incident was not intentional on his part, as he was aware of the consequences. So why did I post this? To try and show people how everything happened and that I was never intentional. I would never do something like this on purpose. I know that the consequences will be after playing rugby for a few years. The most capped Springbok then went into detail on the mitigating factors that led to the incident through 3 video slides posted on the Instagram account that provide visual context on the moment. But I'd like to answer the question, why did you do such a thing? It was a mistake, caused by my reaction and other factors that played a role. To accompany the first slide, Etzebeth explains the scuffle was basically over when Wales number 7 struck me with an open hand to my chin neck area. You can see me looking at the assistant referee and waiting for a reaction from him. It happened fast, and it's understandable he didn't see it. Without reacting yet, I got another pull on my jersey before I went in with a similar type action. For the second slide, he says, you can clearly see my first point of contact is against his shoulder with an open hand. And just like he did, except he got me on the chin. Another thing worth mentioning, when he struck me, I was standing still and not a lot of movement or players trying to get involved. And Turks just gave 10 memberships. Thank you for that. When I went in for the same open hand towards his shoulder, you see 2 Welsh players changing the dynamic of the entire picture, as well as one of my teammates pulling Wales number 7 around his neck away from my hand where the force is going. For the third slide, Etzebeth says simply another camera angle. Etzebeth will miss the next 11 games for his Durban-based United URC Championship franchise of Sharks and will be available again in April. He expresses gratitude to those who supported him during his time. Thanks to everyone who stood by me and thought the best of me. I'm sorry for letting you down and the game down. That was my first red card since I started playing, and I want it to be my last. To the people that were angry and upset with my actions, I understand because I didn't look good on the slow motion replay, and hopefully you've got a bit more context now. All right, there you go. So Eben Etzebeth explains himself, and I'll accept that. Meanwhile, whiny former English nationals are complaining that Etzebeth's punishment wasn't sufficient, and it wasn't fair that he was downgraded to just 12 weeks. But those are the rules. The rules were adhered to exactly as they're designed. He got the 18-week top ban on it, and then it was mitigated down to 12 weeks based on his past conduct. The man's been playing for 15 years in professional rugby and has never gotten a red card. Francois, I'm not sure which bill you're talking about. The ANC is introducing bills left and right about speech. You're going to have to be more specific. Democratic Republic of Congo's president, God bless it. President Felix Tshisekedi accuses Rwanda of violating the peace deal. The deals that Trump has brokered are falling apart in Thailand and in the DRC, but we expected this. We didn't expect the Congolese or the Rwandans to actually adhere to an agreement that they just signed. DRC President Tshisekedi on Monday accused Rwanda of violating its commitments to the U.S. brokered peace deal aimed at ending years of conflict. He made the accusation in a speech to lawmakers. There was no immediate response from Rwanda. 200,000 flee in the DRC as M23 rebels march on the town days after Trump's peace deal. 200,000 people have fled their homes in eastern Congo in recent days as Rwanda-backed rebels march on the strategic town just days after Trump hosted the Rwandan and Congolese leaders for peace summit. A peace deal. In a statement released on Monday, the UN says at least 74 people have been killed, mostly civilians, and 83 admitted to hospital from wounds from escalating clashes in the area in recent days. Ugandan opposition leader Bobby Wine says he was beaten by security forces, not the first time. Uganda's opposition candidate Bobby Wine said he was beaten alongside his aides and supporters by security forces while campaigning in the north in an escalation of violence ahead of the country's presidential election on January 15th. The pop star and politician, his real name is Robert Kyagulanyi, is challenging 81-year-old Yoweri Museveni for the second time after coming second in 2021. He was hit in the face with a cane, and other supporters were also beaten and had to be hospitalized as they approached the campaign venue. Criminals in police and military uniforms attacked us with sticks and stones and started beating our people, which is per the norm in Uganda. Guinea-Bissau struggled to fight narco-terrorist state image. Well, that's because that's what it is. It's a narco-terrorist state. They can fight all they want, but they have been a major drug conduit for 20 years. They are the worst spot in West Africa, the transshipment of drugs from Latin America to Europe. Zero tolerance in the fight against corruption and drug trafficking is our top priority, declared Guinea-Bissau's interim president, General Horta Inta upon taking office following a military coup. So, all right, thank you for that, but your military and police have been ineffective at stopping the country being a narco-terrorist state. Why are we supposed to believe you are now got this under control after you overthrow your government? Yeah, another coup in West Africa. Take a number. Nigeria has dispatched jets and troops to quash the Benin coup. Well, the coup is over, so why are they sending troops? Nigerian jets and ground troops moved earlier this week to restore order after failed coup in Benin. Wow. In its first foreign military intervention in nearly a decade, Nigeria was motivated by fears of an unfriendly military regime taking charge in its backyard, potentially allowing violence to spill across its border. President Tinubu sent fighter jets to assert control over Benin's airspace on Sunday as his close ally, Benin President Patrice Talon, tried to put down a coup attempt by what officials described as a small group of soldiers. But that coup went down in just a matter of minutes, and the Beninois claimed that they did it. Down under, Australia's social media ban has taken effect, ladies and gentlemen. The first teen social media ban. The fascist government in Canberra has applied a national ban. Australia yesterday became the first country, or today, became the first country to ban social media for children under 16, blocking access to TikTok, to YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. 10 of the biggest platforms were ordered to block children from midnight or face fines up to $33 million US under the new law, which drew criticism from major technology companies and free speech advocates, was welcomed by parents and child advocates. Welcomed by lazy, useless parents, feckless parents who want someone else to do the parenting for them. No, this is a suppression of free speech, and it just shows the fascist, lean, the Nazi tendencies of the government of Albanese in Australia. Australian PM issues a warning saying, well, we may have this law, but it's going to be hard to enforce it. 70% of UK 11 to 17-year-olds saw or heard harmful content online over a 4-week period, according to surveys about the UK. Australia's Prime Minister has warned that implementing the country's new social media ban for children under 16 will be difficult. Parents across Australia reported to have found their children distraught after discovering they've been shut off online platforms. Some children are said to be full age estimation technology by drawing on fake facial hair using parents and older siblings to dodge the implementation of the ban. Well, the purpose of the ban is not to protect children. The purpose of the ban is to criminalize parents. That's what the purpose is. This will be used as a tool to go after political opponents whose kids are using the internet, and then they'll charge them, fine them, and potentially imprison people because the state thinks it knows best. This is what a fascist state looks like. It's based in Canberra, the fascist Australian government, which showed its fascist tendencies, its criminal tendencies during the COVID scam, and its attacks on innocent, lawfully protesting Australians. China's consumer inflation hits near two-year high as producer deflation deepens more than expected. Well, that's crazy. One goes up, the other goes down. China's consumer price inflation accelerated in November to the highest level in 2 years, even as producer price deflation worsened, underscoring the challenges policymakers face in reviving domestic demand amid persistent trade tensions. Wow. Factory gate prices fell, but consumer prices rose. Economists warn that deflationary pressure in the world's second-largest economy will persist in the next year as a protracted housing downturn and the weak labor market conditions continue to weigh on household spending, calling for fresh policy measures to spur demand. Part of this is because China simply is amassing too much money. $1 trillion trade surplus. The world is bowing and kowtowing to the Chinese communists, leaving all their industrial production to the scumbags that control 1.4 billion people, many of them living in misery. Chinese premier cites damage from U.S. tariffs as China's surplus surpasses $1 trillion. Li Qiang. Higher tariffs have dealt a severe blow to the world economy, says Chinese premier, even as China's own trade surplus has surged to $1 trillion. Notice how the Chinese lie. The world economy is suffering. It's terrible. But we're making lots of money here. We're making lots of money, but hey, the world's in trouble. No. Both of those statements are just bogus. Starting from the beginning of this year, we've been the stick of tariffs being wielded around the world with growing restrictive measures on the economy and trade, which have dealt a severe blow to the global economy. As the situation unfolds, the damaging consequences of tariffs hurting both others and oneself have become increasingly evident. Now, see, here's the deal, Mr. Li Qiang. No, that's not the case. What has happened for forever, you scumbag countries have been putting barriers, putting laws, putting quotas, putting tariffs in to block American goods and services from your economy while you pilfer money from us and basically steal our wealth. We can no longer finance the world's prosperity. You have to play by the rules and have fairness. If you have a fair market and you let our goods and services in that compete fairly, well, then guess what? People will be buying Cadillacs and Camaros and Firebirds and things like that. That's right, and Intel computers instead of your Chinese shit. But if you quit having this nonsense, you won't have a $1 trillion trade surplus. But see, you and South Africa and France and Germany and the United Kingdom and Japan have for decades been cheating Americans. And you know what? There's a new sheriff in town. A new sheriff in town. And the scumbag policies of trade that people, oh, free trade, free market, it's all BS. You've all been defrauding the American consumer for decades, and that is over. So if that makes the world economy suffer, the United States giving its money away through barriers to its trade, and you amassing a trade surplus, France, Germany, South Africa, UK, Japan, South Korea, well, if that's the problem, well, then it means your economy was never legit to begin with. Your economy was never fair. It was never a competitive economy in the first place if the only way that you can make money is by cheating Americans and we get poor. So the new sheriff in town, the game is up, buddy. The game is up, especially if you're Chinese communists. Well, the United States has backed Japan in its dispute with China over the radar incident. The United States has for the first time criticized China for aiming radars at Japanese military aircraft during training exercise last week, an incident over which the Asian neighbors have given differing accounts. The run-in near Japan's Okinawa Islands comes after Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi triggered a dispute with Beijing last month on her remarks about how Tokyo might react to a hypothetical Chinese attack on Taiwan. Excuse me. So here's the thing. What the Chinese communists did is commit an act of war. Putting locking a radar missile system radar onto a aircraft is an act of war. The Chinese have initiated a war against Japanese. Now, there's no reason to overblow this, but that is basically what that is. That is when you turn on your radar and lock it on a military aircraft, that is an act of war. It's not training. It's not a threat. It's an act of war. Just like the North Koreans firing intercontinental ballistic missiles over Japanese airspace, also an act of war. German Chancellor says some of the U.S. security plan for Ukraine is unacceptable. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has criticized elements of the Trump administration's new national security strategy. He says he's been portraying Europe in a way that Berlin finds politically misplaced. Well, we find Berlin politically misplaced, and too much in the camp of the Russians, despite their claims to the contrary. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said Tuesday the new national security strategy unveiled last week contained parts that were unacceptable to us from a European perspective. Well, guess what? How about you pay us about $85 trillion for the defense of Europe that we've provided free of charge for you ungrateful pricks? How about that? How about that? First person to walk around the world is almost home after 27 years. 27 years, 25 countries, and 49,900 kilometers. These are the incredible numbers behind Carl Bushby's quest to become the first person to walk around the planet without using any motorized transport. Now in Hungary, with just 1,500 kilometers left to go, the 56-year-old former British Army paratrooper is finally on the home stretch to Hull, England, where his mother awaits him. The plan is to do something pretty extraordinary, Carl said of his ambitious goal. The Goliath expedition, as he calls it, aims to make him the first person to complete an unbroken walking path around the entire world. It began with a casual conversation among friends during his 20s. Suddenly it became a challenge. That conversation gathered steam until eventually I did the math and thought, this is doable. I became semi-obsessed with what it would take to achieve something like this. There's his route from Tierra del Fuego up through Central America and across the United States. In 1998, at the age 29, he set off from the edge of Punta Arenas, Chile, ready to begin his 49,900-kilometer expedition. Armed with nothing but paper maps, pencils, and a calculator, he meticulously planned what he thought would be a 12-year journey. Nearly 3 decades later, he's still walking. Financial challenges, visa issues, political barriers, and the COVID-19 pandemic have stretched his journey into a 27-year odyssey. He refused to take shortcuts, no matter how tempting that might have been. During setbacks, the self-imposed rules are strict. I can't use transport to advance. I can't go home until I arrive on foot. If I get stuck somewhere, I have to figure it out. So, for the last 27 years of my life, my purpose of living has been getting up and moving forward, and that's going to stop abruptly. It's hard to adjust, and that's obviously going to be the case when he finishes. Wow. Walking across the world for close to 3 decades might sound solitary, but Carl's experience has been quite the opposite. 99% of people I've met have been the very best in humanity. The world is a much kinder, nicer place than it often seems. His advice to others: seek adventure. You need to see the world, how the world really is, and the people who are living in it. It's one of the best educations you'll get. Well, congratulations to Mr. Busby. What an incredible accomplishment, you crazy batshit nutter. Crazy batshit nutter, man. But congratulations, an impressive achievement. 27 years of your life? I'm sorry. Miami elects its first Democratic mayor in nearly 30 years. The Democrat Eileen Higgins has won because the incumbent was term limited. He could not run again. So the first time in 3 decades, a non-Latino will be running the Miami economy. Yet another city falls to the Democrats. How soon before Miami becomes a crap hole as well? Trump delivers a speech in Pennsylvania as cost concerns grow. Yes, we watched that last night. Trump was unfiltered. He used all kinds of profanity. The speech in Mount Pocono comes as data show Americans feel squeezed by high prices, which continue to creep up despite Trump's insistence he has all but conquered inflation. I don't know what data these people are using, but again, I go to the grocery store and prices haven't gone up much at all, and most things have come down since Trump has become president. Whether it's because of him or it's just because of the market has cooled off, I don't know, but the bottom line here is prices have come down. Eggs are no longer $12 a carton. They're back down to $2 something a carton. So I don't know what these people data they're using or where they're getting it from. I realize we have 50 states and 4 territories, but here in central Pennsylvania, that's a lie, these surveys that they're talking about. I want to ask, if I go to USA, are all people moody? Who is moody? What are you talking about, Turks? Nobody's moody. What are you talking about? Who's moody? Anyway, while the inflation rate has retreated from its heights during the middle of the Biden administration, remains an upward trajectory. No, it doesn't. It's below 3%. We had 12, 15, 30, 40% inflation during Biden, although the government falsely reported that. Little Josh Shapiro, the lying scumbag who is the Commonwealth governor here in Pennsylvania, who failed to uphold his lawful responsibilities during the 2020 election, fostering election fraud in Pennsylvania by failing to do his job. Josh Shapiro, who is now the governor, who has dreams and fantasies of becoming president, which is not going to happen. Sorry, I have nothing against you from a religious standpoint, but my friend, you're Jewish, and we won't have a Jewish president. Not in my lifetime. It just isn't going to happen. But aside from that, you're a dimwit, and that's why you won't be president. Once again, push the wrong button. What's going on this morning? Little Josh Shapiro gives an interview to Politico, who Trump also gave an interview to. He said the president's statement does not reflect reality on the ground here in a community where many Pennsylvanians voted for him in the last election. The record is clear. His policies have hurt the very communities that propelled him to the White House. Trump's tariffs and economic policies have raised prices at grocery stores, shuttered markets for our farmers, hurt our manufacturers, and dramatically increased the cost of living in Pennsylvania. No, that's a lie. No, my cost of living has stopped going up the way it was going up meteorically during Sleepy Joe Biden. In fact, the proof of the pudding is that we are getting a COLA increase of less than 3% this year on military pensions, on Social Security, on all those things the government has COLA-linked cost of living allowances. So if we were going through that kind of inflation, the government recognized it, then we'd be seeing a much larger increase in our payments. But we're not seeing that here in America because Josh Shapiro is lying once again. Also talking about the prices going up, but the reason why Pennsylvanians are suffering is because the Commonwealth itself, in the ineptitude in our legislature and in the governor's mansion in Harrisburg. That is why we're suffering, folks. Pennsylvania is suffering the fact that its corrupt Turnpike Commission has been tripling the cost of using the Turnpike. What used to be a 69-cent trip for me now costs $3.02 in just 5 years. In just 5 years. That is 6 times. That's 600% inflation to go 15 kilometers. 600% inflation. $3 go 15 kilometers. These scumbags are unreal. The cost of the Turnpike is excessive, and it is getting worse. Where does the money go? It's not going into the roads. They're not building new turnpikes. They haven't built a new turnpike in 70 years. Where is the money going? You're already charging us 58 cents a gallon tax, gasoline, which is the 4th worst in the country now. It used to be number 1, now it's number 4. Congratulations. You fell because the other idiots raised taxes on gasoline to steal money from consumers. Pennsylvania also has a bizarre law that allows school districts to raise your property taxes by almost 3% annually without any say from voters or the legislature. This is why Pennsylvanians are suffering, because of the Commonwealth's legislative system and its corrupt governor. This is a state whose budget has grown from $30 billion to over $50 billion in just a decade. Where is that money going from? That is nearly a doubling of the state budget. For what? What are we getting? I'm not seeing any service to veterans. I'm not seeing improved roads. I'm not seeing improved services of any sort whatsoever in the Commonwealth. This is another lie from Little Weasel in Chief, Josh Shapiro. guilty. The admiral who was pushed out by Pete Hegseth will be privately talking to lawmakers. Admiral Alvin Halsey, pushed out of his post as top U.S. military commander overseeing operations in Latin America, spoke privately with several lawmakers on Tuesday, according to 3 people, an indication that Congress is quietly pursuing the boat strike. He's scheduled to speak remotely with Senator Roger Whittaker and Representative Mike Rogers, and others. The classified calls were the first time lawmakers got a chance to hear from Halsey since revelations last month that the military deliberately killed 2 people. Well, that's not true. That's an allegation. ABC News producer reported Halsey had raised concerns with Hegseth about the ongoing campaign. The Pentagon official confirmed to ABC News the 4-star admiral was asking to retire on good terms. His last day in uniform is Friday after serving 37 years in the military. Also on Tuesday, House and Senate leaders known as the Gang 8 are hearing separately from President Trump's national security team. Well, here's the thing. The admiral was pushed out. Was he pushed out? There's no mention of how he's pushed out. What they fail to mention is what's going on in leadership changes there. So maybe he was pushed out. I don't know. Winter vomiting disease. Ooh, that just sounds disgusting. Winter vomiting disease. Well, it's true, folks. We have winter vomiting disease here in America. Good Lord. A highly contagious form of norovirus called winter vomiting disease is spreading across the country, including Pennsylvania, where, according to analysis of wastewater at 2 surveillance sites in the state, norovirus typically spike after Christmas and New Year's, but the number of new cases in November showed a notable increase. Oh, my goodness. Is this from Wuhan? Is it from Wuhan? Are we getting another gift from the Chinese? Is this another gift from the Chinese? Interesting. Well, Al Jazeera wasted no time in fact-checking President Trump's speech last night, which was more entertainment than it was factual. President Trump made several assertions last night, and Al Jazeera wasted no time in checking them. Shall we fact-check Al Jazeera on its reporting on Gaza? I think we should do that. Shall we fact-check Al Jazeera and its fraudulent reporting? Here's a closer look at what Trump said about the economy and migration during a Politico interview. Trump inherited the worst inflation in history. The economy is thriving now. During his Pennsylvania rally, he claimed that he inherited the worst inflation in history. He also told Politico, if you think a gallon of gasoline, they had it $4.50, almost $5. You go to some of the states, you had it $6. Philadelphia-based nonprofit Fact Check wrote in January this year that while inflation did rise under Biden, Trump did not, in fact, inherit the worst inflation. Yeah, that was under Jimmy Carter. The annualized inflation rate was below 3% during the 6 months before Trump took office in his second term. Lies. Pure lies. Oh, my goodness. Give another 10 memberships, man. Okay, explaining the rise in inflation under Biden was partly due to the economic damage caused by COVID pandemic. Yeah, and it was also predominantly caused by Joe Biden's energy policies and their deficit spending. Yeah, and the subsidies they gave to insurance companies for health care. In March of 1980, inflation hit 14.8%. Yes, that was the highest ever. I just said under Jimmy Carter. That's what I said. Trump's statements about petroleum prices are misleading. In the U.S., the average national price of petrol is $3.05 a gallon, according to Energy Information. The cost, the gallon ranged $2.41 to $4.53 in California. The $1.99 price Trump cited applies to isolated low-price stations in certain states and does not reflect general statewide trend. He never claimed that. He said in some places. So why are you fact-checking? That's a factual statement on his part. Also, what they don't point out here is that the gasoline prices under Biden did go over $6 a gallon. So if you can fact-check him all you want, Trump wasn't wrong about that. He was correct. Ilhan Omar is in the U.S. illegally. He didn't say that. You're making that claim. I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with her little turban. I love her. She comes in, she does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from her country where, it's considered about the worst country in the world. We got to get her the hell out. She's married her brother in order to get in. She married her brother to get in, therefore she's here illegally. Oh my God. First, Somalia does have a military, a parliament, a police force. Yeah, because we paid for them. I trained the Somali National Force. These people are so pathetic. Fact-checking hyperbole. While Omar was born in Mogadishu in 1982, her family fled the civil war and spent 4 years in a refugee camp in Kenya before seeking asylum. Oh yeah, you refugees? She spent 4 years in a camp. Look how bitter she is. After seeking asylum in the U.S. in 1995 when she was 12. Once asylum was granted, either it was asylum or it was refugee. I don't think it was asylum. That's a lie. She was granted refugee status. U.S. Refugee Missions Program grants lawful permanent residence status to refugees who can then apply for citizenship 5 years later. Well, then it wasn't asylum, so I'm fact-checking Al Jazeera because they're factually wrong twice now. She became eligible citizen 5 years after she entered the U.S. and finally became a citizen when she was 17. That's a little dodgy. You become eligible for citizenship 5 years. She was 12 when she went to the U.S. So how the hell did she become a citizen exactly 5 years later? That's bullshit. Doubts about Omar's legal status, U.S. claims that she married her brother, circulated among U.S. right wing since 2018, shortly before she was elected. She dismissed these claims as disgusting lies, so she dismissed them. She first married Ahmed Abdel-Salam Hirsi in 2002 in a Muslim faith ceremony, had 2 children, later separated. In 2009, she married a British citizen in a civil ceremony, separating. She reunited with him. So what is this woman? What is this multiple marriages here? I thought she's supposed to be a faithful Islamic woman here. Anyway, there's no verifiable evidence to back up allegations that either her brother, and she's denied it. Well, yeah, that's what I said last night when my viewers asked me, did she marry her brother? I said, well, that's what people claim, but it's never been proven. But yeah, you can accuse Trump of hyperbole on that one. The Venezuelan boat strike saved 25,000 American lives each time. Well, they make that claim, and they're saying the facts. He's not providing any evidence that strikes on Venezuelan boats saved 25,000 lives. That doesn't make it true, but it does mean he hasn't provided any evidence. Claims about transgender people and black people. Trump said, transgender for every member of your family. If they're not feeling well that night, let's just change their sex. Black people love Trump. I got the biggest vote with black people. All right. In the U.S., access to medical transition gender-affirming treatments such as puberty blockers, hormone blockers is not a uniform process nationwide. But it is in many states. These people are pathetic. Oh, my goodness. When it comes to black voters, it is true that Trump made significant inroads. Overall, he secured 20% of the black vote in November 24th, a big rise from 12% he won 2020. However, that means his opponent got 80%. That's sad losers. Al Jazeera, pathetic losers, man, pathetic losers. Anyway, so they are factually wrong on several things that they cited in there, and they also are wrong in their things claiming he didn't get it right. But a couple things, yeah, they're right about him. What are you talking about her brother? Tom Homan says the investigator looked into it and confirmed it, but statute of limitations found in the California case, but he's now looking into it. What are you talking? What are you talking? Okay. Not sure what Turk's Fee's saying about his name there, but WhatsApp note. Thank you. It's a new apartheid criminalization bill quietly pushed by Al Jamal. Oh, I've already covered that. I've covered that. I've got it printed out right here. So yeah, that's it right there. I've covered this bill. I've talked about it. You guys are panicking over something that hasn't happened yet. Okay, it's this here. This is their press release. It was in November. They announced this in November. You're all just waking up to it now. The media just started covering it. But November 11th, it's been over a month ago. Well, a month ago today. Yeah, a historic struggle. So the problem with this, as I discussed, is that anybody can call anything apartheid. You just name it apartheid and you're a criminal. So this is nonsense. This will put South Africa on a trajectory that's bad. You're sick. I'm in bed with my sister. Okay. To everyone that received free membership, please remember that your membership is free 1 month and you'll have to pay for membership afterwards if you want that. Yes, you were correct, Erica. Thank you for that. I never mentioned that, so thank you for that. We'll turn the alert box back on in case anybody wants to give a super chat and see it be recognized. You'll hear it. Thoughtful gift memberships. Yes, Debbie, they're very kind. Nothing worse than vomiting. Yeah, vomiting is pretty painful. That's the last for today, says Turk Savvy. Okay, thank you, Turk Savvy. You gave 20 today. It's very kind of you. No norovirus is normal. Yeah, but not winter vomiting norovirus. That's pretty rough. Cape Town is beautiful but dangerous. Yes, it is. Jewish president is more unlikely today than it was even a couple years ago. Massive leftist drop in support. Massive noticing from the right. Exactly. Yep. The leftists hate Jews now. They hate Israel. They hate Jews. And still, rich Jews are members of the Democratic Party. It makes no sense whatsoever. But you know what? Self-flagellation is something that people do. So, go ahead. Met a New Zealand guy in Namibia, same type, fast saying off the charts. Okay. Rose problem glasses the Miami mayor is wearing is enough for me to vote to deport her. Seeing a video of someone analyzing it, they say it's higher, but then tariff, I don't know what you guys are talking about there. Walking away from Sunny Press to Cape What's this? What are you guys typing in here? None of these statements make any sense. Maybe I need to wear glasses. I can read these things or half sentences and didn't make 27 interesting years. Oh, you dumb Marie. That makes sense, yeah. Francois Ferrar, I missed your 21 rand super chat. Thank you for that. Clouds are gathering. Merritt's is a gingerbread man. I think you're right, Garrett. It's up to the parents to correct and guide their own children, not up to the state. We're not brood mares for the state. Well, that's a good statement there, Erica. New sheriff in town, this needs to be realized worldwide. Yep, that's right. Confirming we saw many country news edits today. One news outlet claims Hofstadter will replace Rattels, but the others say the Rattels are being refurbished. I haven't heard about that. Over 1 million Chinese phones went silent as COVID started. The people couldn't communicate. Funny that, huh? This is how they try and silence people. Exactly, Holden. That's how they're going to try to silence us. Friends was in Australian school for years. He says they don't know how to fight and are crybabies. Yeah, children are going to lie about their age. You're right, Smiley Ruiz. Yep. Greetings to you, Johann Reitenbach. We've been saying it all along with slow motion. One can make believe anything. Yep. More to Aben than meets the eye. Yes. How is it that nothing happened to the instigator? Well, it's a good question, Charles. How is it that the Europeans don't get bans when they attack South African players? How is it that hits to the head and intentional bully or thuggish behavior by Northern Hemisphere teams that occur in games are simply overlooked and TMOs don't get involved? We see this over and over again when it comes to South African rugby. There's a clear bias against South African rugby. So possibly see the new bill they're trying to pass regarding free speech criminality straight to jail. No, I'm not sure which bill you're talking about. There's several bills out there. All right. Yes, Guede has lived quite well off the taxpayer. You see that gut, which has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, I'm caught up with that now. My daughter was 4. She wanted to be a boy. I explained that she did not have the equipment. She asked if I could buy it for her. She got married on Saturdays. Can you buy the equipment for her? Yeah. See, that's the problem. Little kids see things like, they're like, oh, the boys get to do this, or the girls get to do that, or the boys get to wear this, the girls get to wear that, and kids are envious because they think it's neat or cute. That doesn't mean they want to be the opposite sex. And these idiots are giving them drugs and telling them that they are, letting them dress, letting little boys grow their hair and dress as girls and playing their fantasies, and then they're just doing incredible harm to children. But they get away with it. They get away with it. Kids always want to be different. That's right. Their coaches are not called Rossi. Here we go. Everyone kindly spread the video. By the way, has Eddie Jones been sanctioned? Eddie Jones said horrible things about World Rugby officiating after the game against Wales. Remember that when the Japanese were cheated with those 3 cards? Eddie Jones has never been called to account. I'm not asking for Eddie Jones to be punished. I thought he was right, but Rossi Erasmus says something, and where is the fairness in the system? There is no fairness. Loretta says, thanks for the news and updates. Didn't you send me a... do you know of Michael Schollenhammer? He does actually... No, I don't know who he is. Don't know who he is. To all the trolls, to spite the colonel, do super chats, he has to do tax. The bigger the super chat, the more work he has to do. Well, that's true. The more super chats you do. Now, if you send it to my PayPal account, it's a little bit easier. There's less taxes there. A certain podcast likes to discredit you, dox viewers commenting on a program today. Isn't it copyright infringement? No, doxing people is not a copyright infringement. Stealing their content is a copyright infringement. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are we talking about the Sunnyside Prowler, the new detective, South Africa's newest investigative journalist? Is that who you're talking about? Who is Cologne? You wrote to @Cologne. My glasses are dirty. Let me try the other pair. I can't. I've wiped them off, but they're not. My eyes are really bothering me this morning. So, come on. Okay, these are also dirty. They're not very clean either. Let me try these. I think these are clean. They're not as sexy, though. Oh, those are clean. Yeah, that I can see with. There we go. I hate dirty glasses. I just started wearing glasses. Yeah, so, doxing is when you release people's private personal details. That is doxing. But copyright infringement is when you use someone's content without their permission, unless it's fair use. There is fair use doctrine, but that's a very specific use. Krista says, yes. Remember when I was little, I dressed my dad's clothes, then later my mom's. Straight, my kids did the same. Yeah, see, smiling. Okay. So you guys are driving Chris to his glasses today. Yeah. Oh, Hendo said support me with PayPal. Yeah, there you go, folks. You want to help out. Somebody just became a member. Thank you for that. Are we giving out more memberships? I thought you were done. Now that I'm done the news, I'll just leave that running. It's going to go ding, 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 ding for a few minutes. Yeah, so if anybody wants to help, PayPal takes less money. YouTube takes a lot of money. They take 30% of every super chat, and then I pay taxes on top of that. But PayPal, if you give them rand, it just takes a few percent. If you give them dollars, it takes nothing. There's the PayPal one. The TikTok's funny. This guy reckons only 3 referees gone to use USA. Huh? All 3 refugees. Oh, hell, and that's just crazy. Saved from the storm. That's because they read an article in which the New York Times lied about the program, saying that 3 refugees came back, and that's they're just dumb people. There's a lot of dumb people out there. Thank you for all you do, Keone. You're welcome, Keone. You're welcome. Clouds are gathering. Dress as a clown for fancy dress competition doesn't mean I want to go to the circus. That's true. Talking crazy words, leading psychologist and trans Dr. Kenneth Zucker was dismissed because he did not agree with the woke nonsense. He believes psychological assistance was paramount, not surgery. Yep. Stroke was partly caused by being cyberbullied. Some people don't seem to realize there are real people behind each nick. Huh? No, Holden. I'm only taxing about them actually paid. So what YouTube takes, I don't get taxed on. Yeah. 12 degrees in Amsterdam. Well, here it's 2 degrees. Yep. Yeah. So the way it works, just for those who are curious, the way this works is that for YouTube, is the money's paid as if I'm a consultant. It's supposed to be paid as royalties, which is taxed differently, but they're not doing that. YouTube is a bunch of scumbags. They pay it as if you're contracting, even 1099. NEC, which is a contractor, your subcontractor. And I know that because I do subcontracting for companies for my consulting. So, yeah, thank you for 35 Rand. Clouds are gathering. So, YouTube, in order to make money off the site, YouTube takes 45% of all ad revenue. So that's my biggest generator is ad revenue on the channel. It's not memberships. It's not super chats. It used to be super chats. It's never been memberships. And then advertising was not that much. But with the larger viewership, a lot more ads play, a lot more money comes in. And when I say a lot more, it's not enough to live off of, but it's nice to see. So YouTube takes 45% of the ad revenue. Now, on that, I don't have a beef. I don't have a problem with YouTube taking 45%. Why? Because they create a very complicated online auction system that's silently done in the background. No one even knows how it's done. And they present the ads on your videos. They do all that work. They upload them, they broker them, they take the payments, they disperse them. So I do nothing except produce content that people want to watch. And then if they watch it and they watch the ads, then I get a little bit of money. So I'm okay with them taking 45%. That's a lot, but that's fine because I would have zero revenue otherwise. However, regardless of how good or bad my content is, I would get nothing if they didn't have that advertising system. But they take 30% of super chats, they take 30% of memberships. That I have a problem with. That is usury. That is unfair. Because the content is what brings people to make super chats. The content is what gets people to do memberships, not YouTube. They provide the infrastructure, they provide the backbone, they allow me to broadcast for free. I get all that. But 30% is ridiculous. That number should be 10, 15% max. And that's something I have a beef with. But yeah, they take 30% of memberships, they take 30% of super chats, they take 45% of ad revenue. So that's why a lot of people have their little QR codes to send money to them, and also have PayPal and things like that, because you go around YouTube making money, because YouTube gets nothing. If you send money to my PayPal account, YouTube gets nothing. In fact, let me take a look at my PayPal account. I don't push it very often, but people are asking about it now, so I'm answering your questions in the interest of transparency. So let me log into my PayPal account and see if anybody's given anything. The only time I ever look at my PayPal account for the most part is times like this when people are talking to me about how you get paid on YouTube. I got something from somebody. Thanks, kind regards. Okay, thank you very much for that $5. Yes, December 9th, I got $5 yesterday. Thank you so much for that. That's the first one. I got one on December 4th. Happy holidays, Colonel. Sending hugs from South Africa. Yep, so I got 2 in December. And the one I got, the first one, December 4th, there was nothing taken out because it was transferred from the U.S. The one I got December 9th was a $5 super chat and 22 cents was taken. So, yeah, so 22 cents. So what is that percentage? 3% maybe? Just do the calculator. 0.22 divided by 5. It's That's 4%, a little bit higher than it was. So 4%. 4% is a hell of a lot better than 30%. Anyway, so that's how. God bless it. That's how it works. So YouTube. Now, don't forget that that revenue that comes into me, then I have to pay taxes on to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to Social Security Administration, and to the federal government. Nikki Hayton gave 140 rand super chat. Thank you for that, Nikki. I don't understand all these laws, the reversal of apartheid. They don't have a majority. Where's the DA? Well, the DA is in league, Amanda, with the ANC, the Government National Unity. They have nothing to say. They are not going to oppose anything. If they do, it's going to be a tepid objection. Turk says, I want to ask you, and not be respectful, if you listen to the song I sent you. I don't know Turks. I don't know who Turks is. I don't have any connection to anyone called Turks. Have you sent it to me on WhatsApp? If you sent it to me, guys, you have to understand that you send me a message on WhatsApp, it's just a phone number. I don't know who you are. If you don't identify who you are, and you don't tell me your username on YouTube, I don't know who you are. I've listened to a bunch of music people sent me. So I don't know if I've listened to your music. You're gonna have to, if you send me an email, put your username up there and say, get my attention. Okay, well, see, I don't know that. So you probably sent me an email under your real name. Let me go. I don't know if I've listened to it. You guys, nothing against you Turks, but people think I read minds. I don't read minds. I mean, I can read what it says here. I got something from Miguel. I got something from Cementry. I've got something from Nikki, Archie, Graham. Are any of those you? CJ, Rhonda, Miranda, Llewellyn, Paul, Johan, none of those say Turks. None of those say Turks. And it doesn't always show the attachments. On the email here, I have nothing but images that have come in this week. I see no phone, no music. No music. So you're going to have to be more specific and send me something. And put your username in the title. Now, I hope you send it to the email for this account, because that's where I look for email related to this. Yep. Yep. You're not disrespectful, Turks. You're welcome to ask that question. I'll move the rugby ball so we can see it continuously. Yeah, but maybe I should do that. But I mean, this wasn't about making a ton of money. Yeah, but those rugby balls are important to me. Plus, if I put a sign back there, it has a PayPal, you're not going to be able to see it. The easiest way is just put it on the screen. It's not disrespectful, Turk Savvy. I'm happy to answer it, but I need to know more information, so send me an email. Rule of thumb, never assume. Yep. Well, Quids, the Wyatt Army badge and Wyatt Army t-shirt and Wyatt merchandise, something I'm seriously considering right now, but I need help with that. I need somebody that's good at designing that will, give me the logo and not expect me to pay them for it. Yeah, but I need a Wyatt Army logo. If anyone's a great graphic person's out there, you can start sending me ideas and we'll play around with it. But we need a Wyatt Army logo. We'll get a pin made probably, and we'll definitely get a patch made, and we'll get some t-shirts. Yeah. Yeah, I did the Advent calendar at the beginning. We had 2 Sinterklaas and a little chocolate. But the Sinterklaas weren't the same. One's got a cane, the other one's got no cane. Or you can't see the cane. They're just made differently. So these were the 2 chocolates came out of the 2 from Aldi, from Aldi, yeah. And then the other one was the Kinder Chocolate. The mention of the 50s Apartheid Population Regulation Act. Oh, you didn't have to tell me that, Turk Savvy. Sorry. Okay. You could have just sent me a message again. Okay. Okay, that helps immensely. You sent on December 6th. Okay. Yes, I did listen to it. Weren't these kind of rock songs? Yeah, I listened to this.
Chris Wyatt's on the live stream, coffee in his hand, trying to help the Hesse refugees across a broken land. He's giving all the updates, everything he knows, but every 5 seconds someone pops up in the comments like, oh Chris, why's it taking this so long? My visa's stuck, what went wrong? Do you think they lost my form again? He sighs, counts to 10, he says, guys, I'm not the government, I don't stamp your docs, I don't push.
It's pretty good. It's not my cup of tea kind of music. Yeah, I did listen to that. But the fact that I didn't send any response back doesn't mean I didn't listen to it. Okay, but thank you for that. And you sent me a couple of them, as I recall. There were a couple songs there. Yep, 3 different versions of that. Plus, you sent me some fun Rebec songs back in August and Fakele Mabalula songs. The Fakele Mabalula song I did not listen to because I never saw it in August. I was headed out on the road. The other ones, the Fun Rebecs, the Ashes, I have listened to them, Malcolm. Thank you. But I just hadn't played them because most of the songs you sent me once I was on the road, and it's not easy for me to do. Yeah, Del Marie, that's extremely high. Oh, no. Okay, so now I get to take deductions of my income like everyone else does, but that lowers it. But on principle, everything I have to pay up front. I have to pay 28% to Uncle Sam. I have to pay 3% to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I have to pay 18% Social Security Administration. So 18 and 3 is 21, and 28, 50, or 49. 49% of my income goes there. Then, when I pay petrol, $1 a gallon tax between Pennsylvania and the federal government for every gallon tax. When I go shopping, 6% sales tax except on clothes and food here. It's the government takes tons of money. We are overtaxed to death. It should be 10% and that's it. And there should be no corporate income tax, none whatsoever. No, governments just rip us off left and right, and then that's what they get. So the labor that I put out, if people give me super chats, it's great and I love it and I appreciate it and it's very helpful. But understand that YouTube takes a chunk of it, and then so does all the tax man. Yep. Oh yeah, that's how it is. I'm not complaining, but that's just the reality of it, folks. In fact, what I do is my YouTube revenue, for the most part, up until this year, has basically been to help me pay my tax bill. Although I've used some of it, like I used some of it to purchase this computer, which is giving me headaches now. What did Rob Hersoff say about 1,000 votes for you to become an ambassador? I have no idea what you're talking about, work people. What did Rob Hersoff say? A handkerchief for the tears. I don't know, Holden. Oh, your wife will do all the design work. Okay. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, people. I know. I get it, Turk Safi. It's about people asking too many the same question over and over again. No, it's really good. It's a great song. Not my cup of tea. Not my genre that I like. That, but it's almost like a heavy metal song. It sounds like. You want the PayPal up again? Sure. There you go. I see somebody said great song. See, some people love it. My dog. Okay. Ask again. Sending to where it does give you the most. Oh, Turks, the most you can give me is either a bank transfer, but that's no. But PayPal is the best option right at the moment. So I get the most from that. So, and also it's immediate. Here's the other thing. So for YouTube, if you don't make $100 in a month, you get paid nothing. So on my original channel, I'm making $3 or $4 a month. I don't see that. YouTube just takes the money, they steal it. You have to make $100 a month to get a payout. And it's not like it accumulates and then you get a payout. They just take the money every month. On my Rugby Ascendant channel, I've gotten over $100 a couple months in a row now because Super Chats and people watching some of the ads. So that $100 has come to me. This channel, what happens though is that you don't get paid until a month in arrears. So I will get paid for Super Chats and for ad revenue and memberships on YouTube on December 21st for November. December 21st for November. So they sit on that money for 3 weeks and earn interest off of it, and then they pay you. So that's how it works. So you're in arrears. But it's better than the music industry. I said people with the music, I showed you guys I made $50 off my money on music. But with the music industry, I get paid 2 or 3 months in arrears or longer. Well, the direct EFT, that's my bank account. I don't just hand that out to anybody. So you don't do PayPal. They're too far to the left. Gotcha. Well, William Wheeler, it's debatable about what we're getting for our money on their taxes. For instance, my local taxes have gotten me a municipal, a council, a township council that is hell-bent on expansion. I now have 5 massive low-income apartment housing buildings located 1 kilometer from my house and a major intersection, which has turned into a nightmare. No one even lives there yet. You can go there in the morning and sit 15 minutes to get through an intersection. There's no robot, no traffic light. There is no roundabout, and it's a complete disaster. So they're going to spend $2 million of grant money, of our taxes and grant money, to build a roundabout in a state where people don't understand the right of way. So that's just crazy. So that's a problem. Also, the road that comes by my neighborhood, because there's no bridge or tunnel around the highway that's by this town, so the traffic gets stopped and they can't get across the road. People have to go past the part where they want to get off to go to the main exit for town and double back, which they don't like doing because they sit in traffic lights forever, or they have to turn off before they come into the little town, and they go around and they wind up circumventing through the road that goes around my neighborhood, which was very rural and not even part of the town, and the road looks like Mogadishu. No potholes, but it's all falling apart. It's got divots and dents, and it's got places patched over and over again because of the volume of traffic. So it's just a disaster. That's what I get for my services. I get police officers. The police officers in this township, there's only 6 of them. They get $33,000 a year for uniforms. I didn't get any money for uniforms in the military. I had to buy all my uniforms. They get $33,000 to pay for the uniforms. They also get a budget to buy new firearms. Why do they need new guns? Guns last forever. How many people are they shooting? How many times did they discharge a weapon in the last 10 years? Once? But every year they get to spend tens of thousands of dollars buying firearms. And then they sell the firearms to gun dealers for nothing. Is that crooked? Are they getting cut of it? Makes you wonder. Also, the police chief, the idiots gave him a 6-year contract. Now he's demanding a 10-year contract where he won't sign. Well, I say let him go. Let him go. Why are we guaranteed? He also has guaranteed $7,500 bonus. Doesn't even have to do anything. At the end of the year, he gets a $7,500 bonus. What the hell is that? Shouldn't you have a performance, And now they're putting in license plate readers. Why? Why are they putting license plate readers? Their arguments for Amber Alerts. Amber Alerts in this township, we're not even on the highway. This township isn't even the highway. The police don't even patrol the highway. They're just on secondary roads, country roads. What do they need an Amber Alert for? The odds of somebody on the Amber Alert who is traversing our back country roads is almost zero. So they're going to put license plate readers to intrude into our privacy. This is out of control. This is what governments do. They oppress people, and they take our money. I know it would add to your work, but I don't see you on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. No, I'm not. I'm on Instagram legal, but my account's not open to anybody. It's private. Instagram is useless. I see no value in the Instagram. And every time I try to go on it makes me log in. And it tells me I don't have the password. It's the right password. It's a shitty site. I don't like it. Bugger off, bunny. Yeah, itemized billing would be great. 2/3 of earnings gone on what you actually do. Oh, yeah. No, that's everything, Elmer. So I go work, and I work doing consulting at the War College or for the Department of Commerce or someone like that, and the government gets half my income. Half of it. They do nothing. They get half. Half my income. I said it on this stream to address. What did I say, work people? What did I say? Did I say something wrong? I don't see any comment from you work people about that previously. What are you talking about? Yeah. Yeah, here's a new rule. If you send me an email, your YouTube display name. Yeah, well, I don't understand why it's so complicated. I've mentioned it 1,000 times. You send me emails as if I know who you are. I know some of you. I've met many of you, but I haven't met the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who watch this program, man. My son showed me a vid last night where a vet stated his disability. It was 100% he was getting 4,000 didn't see companies claiming due to back injuries. Well, that sounds like a fraud. No one gets back injuries from marching. No one marches that much. That's just a lie. I don't know about that case. I have real injuries. I have a damaged hip. They want to replace my hip. I have other issues that are genuine, and I don't get that kind of money. I don't. I meet the disability threshold for free medical care from VA, but it's not here, so I still pay insurance to go to the military facility. I have to travel for the VA. Yeah, I don't get $4,000 a month. I'd love to see $4,000 a month. Sounds like that guy's a fraud and stolen valor. Sounds like he's a fraud. I mean, I've marched tons of my life in the Army, and that has nothing to do with back pain. If you have a back injury, it's not from marching. It's not from marching. Yeah, no, if you're 100% disabled, you get about $4,300 a month. Tax exempt. So it's more like making about $6,500 a month. Check that, Chris Wyatt. Give me your whole resume. You went to AI and you asked, so which AI did you use, Garrett? Let me try Gemini. See what Gemini. I've never tried this. Okay. I'm using Gemini. See what it comes up with. Well, Turk Savvy, when did I say something was politically correct? Please let me know. Why would I dislike you? Many people in South Africa don't understand tax when you're commission earner, independent contractor. Oh yeah, when you're an independent contractor or a business owner, you get slammed with it. Okay. I remember that. So Jay Doran interviewed me, and it only has 70 views. This guy interviewed me, and that's what they show. Okay, so I said, please show me my resume. So let's see what it says. Let's go check out what they came up with before we end this stream. That's interesting. So here we go. So this is what Gemini says. Okay. Okay, I'll zoom it up bigger because it's hard to see there. Colonel retired William Chris Wyatt, strategic intelligence, African studies expert, foreign area officer, educator. Distinguished military leader and subject matter expert with over 36 years of service in the United States Army. Retired colonel, former director of African studies, U.S. Army War College, possessing extensive expertise in national security strategy, intelligence operations, international diplomacy. Proven track record of leading high-stakes initiatives in sub-Saharan Africa and Europe, including serving as senior military advisor, U.S. mission to the African Union. Prolific broadcaster and analyst on African geopolitical affairs. Well, that's all stuff they've added. Indaba African Independent Media, produce and host daily news analysis program focused on African politics, economic security, provide independent insights into the global audience, interview high-profile political figures, diplomats, industry experts regarding U.S.-Africa relations, geopolitical shifts. U.S. Army War College, led the African Studies program, developed curricula, provided subject matter expertise, senior defense leadership. U.S. Mission to African Union, primary military advisor to the mission, advised peace and security matters. United States Army Global Assignments, Chief of Security Cooperation, Liberian, Botswana, Chief Southern Africa Branch, Africa Command, Brigade Intel Officer, 4th Brigade, 1st Army Division, Counterintelligence Coordinating Authority, Task Force Eagle in the Balkans. Operational highlights: executes strategic intelligence diplomatic missions across Tunisia, Liberia, Botswana, Malawi, Niger, Mauritania, Uganda, Ethiopia. 3 tours in Germany, 1 in Italy, deployed to the Balkans, Southwest Asia. Specialized in human intelligence, signals intelligence, and counterintelligence. Master's degree, U.S. Army War College. Master's degree, Troy University. Bachelor of Arts in History and German, Ohio University. Associate degree, Maryland. U.S. Army War College, Command General Staff College, Military Intelligence Officer, Basic and Advanced Courses, Combined Armed Services Staff School, Signals Intelligence Course, Counterintelligence Course, Air Assault School. Defense Meritorious Service Medal. It doesn't have my Legion of Merit on here. 5 Oak Leaf Clusters, Meritorious Service Medal, Joint Service Medal, Army Commendation, Joint Service Achievement, Army Achievement, National Defense Service, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal. Regional Expertise, National Security Strategy, Security Sector Reform, Foreign Policy, Counterterrorism, International Relations, Languages, German, Academic Major, Reported Linguist of 6 languages, Communication, Public Speaking, Broadcasting, Policy Analysis, Academic Instruction. This video features Colonel Wyatt discussing his military career, including how his early education deployment shaped his holistic approach to intelligence and his deep involvement with African affairs. It only has 70 views. Look at that. Only 70 views. That's the one they find. I have all these videos and people interviewing. That's what they find. My goodness. Johan, take care. He used deferring tactics. They attack us in racial ideals while we get consumed with his eyes, misappropriating funds. Very clever tactic. 40 international certification design, then I'm Adobe certified expert. Okay. Marley. Okay. Yes, Marley and Quids are together. Okay. Okay. All right. I missed your live on Truth Report. Couldn't find another channel. Really? Really? Let me go to the Truth Report and see what's going on there. We're going to have to wrap up here shortly. Truth Report. Yeah, are they hiding my content? No, it's under the lives. So go to the live. Yeah, there it is. For South Africa to survive, the ANC must die. That was yesterday's Truth Report live. That's it. So go to the live tab and you'll find it. So Byron, Rob, and I were on with Joe Emilio. But my video is supposed to be the one I just did an interview with an Iranian. I don't think that's on yet. I'm looking. Hang on. I've got to go to playlist and look for me. So, Colonel Chris Wyatt, full playlist. Okay, so here's my Truth Report. A month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 months ago, all these. So, yeah, they're not. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos on there. Yeah, 4. Huh. So very few people look at the playlist. Only 447 views have come to the playlist. Yeah. Truth Report anchor. So anyway, yeah. But I've got 2 videos upcoming. One, the Iranian journalist I interviewed, not journalist, but economist, South African Iranian, and the other is the food socks, which appears on the 16th of December. I don't know when the other one's coming up. I was thinking that Plan B for me would be to join SAPS. Witness D was killed. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I want to send you an email. Can I use email on your PayPal? No, you can't use my email there, Charles, because I don't use that. That's only for PayPal. Please put the email up real quick, one of the mods. You cannot send anything to there because I won't respond to it. It's just like sending to my personal email account. People can send me stuff be personal. They're looking up the emails. They're not watching the program. At least you're watching the program, Charles Edward Call. If you want to send me an email, it needs to go to allaboutafrica2021 at Gmail. Allaboutafrica2021 at Gmail. If one of the mods can put up, I've got to go right now, though, to Ronaldo. I assume Ronaldo is going to be there. Let me see if he sent me. He did send it, so I got to pop off and go to Ronaldo, okay? But yeah, so there you go. And Renault just put in there. So do not send it to any of the other stuff. I'll never see it. I mean, people, I've got hundreds of emails that were sent to PayPal. I never see them. I don't use that account except for PayPal. It's the only thing. There it is. A couple of the mods put in. That's going to be it for now, folks. I did forget to, and let me take care of this real quick before we go anywhere. Yeah, I never got around to the point that Ramaphosa said that we gave this stuff to people. I apologize for that. Got so busy. Let me take care of that real quick before we go to Ronaldo. I'm going to play that. So I'm going to play it in the background so I don't get... Oh, come on, stupid thing. Hang on a second here. Okay, there we go. That's not right. 3 December, that's not right. Hang on a second. Ronaldo has 3 December. Does he have the wrong date on there? God bless it. He must have left the wrong date on there. Yeah, he's got the wrong date on it. So, okay, so you'll be sent there. All right, I did want to play this very quickly. This is Sir Ramaphosa telling fairy tales. So I did a video on this, which is getting very few views. I'm a bit surprised by it. I thought it would do much better. But this is what Ramaphosa had to say.
We've given houses to people. And I said, yes.
No.
And I said, if you were to value the houses that we're giving to our people today, that we've built for 160,000, obviously others we built much cheaper earlier. It means that we are giving them an asset base which is worth easily, in today's market prices, more than 300,000.
No, you didn't give anybody anything. You retained title to them. You haven't given them anything. You haven't given them anything. That's a lie. That's just, this guy's a bold-faced liar. That's an absolute lie. You haven't given them anything. And I'm shocked that my video hasn't done better. 7,000 views, a bit disappointing. People need to know the truth. They haven't given anybody anything. They've retained the title. There are people waiting 20 years for title to their RDP houses. Total bullshit. You know, you haven't given them anything anyway because you didn't give it. The taxpayer did. The taxpayer did. All right. See you guys on Ronaldo in a few minutes, okay? All right, Wednesdays with the Colonel. Thanks for being here. You all take care, and be sure to hit the like button before you head out. We only got 437 likes. Cheers.